Yo, let's welcome back to the Reality Guys. Your host here tonight for the challenge show, Brett, with my co-host Waleed. He hasn't been here in a few weeks, but let's welcome Waleed.
What's going on, Brett?
Yeah, so tonight we're discussing the challenge episode 15, not a problem, but I like to call it, hashtag finish the drill. So that's a quote direct from Nani and Bananas. We might get into that later, but who else cares? So we're gonna start off with the challenge. The first one, I actually, Wally, you take this one over. I completely blanked on the challenge episode.
No, the way this episode started, because the last episode ended on a cliffhanger with the last elimination between Casey and Kenny and Anissa and Jordan. Basically, one of the teams was coming back in the game, the other one was gonna go home. They played the tie the knot challenge, whatever it was called, where they have to untangle the knot. Yeah, and Casey and Kenny ended up going home against Anissa and Jordan, which I was very happy to see. I wanted Casey and Kenny to get out of it pretty much. So didn't want them in the
Right.
game anymore. Yeah, they were just boring me, and yeah, didn't want to see it anymore.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. So like the knot challenge. I watched this like the day it aired, and then I watched the rest of it like an hour ago. So with Casey and Kenny, I mean, man, come on, like that Kenny just dropped the ball. Casey was in a perfect position. She's like a champ of the show, and
Mhm.
he just, I feel like he's just not a good partner. They were
Well,
playing a game and
the thing
balls like
is, I mean,
jumping
it's
over.
unfortunate. The thing is, it's unfortunate because, like, you see, I mean, the guy's a nice guy, he is, but like, you don't see too many brother sister team combinations where, like, the sister is has way more masculine energy than her brother and is the athlete in the family. You don't see that too often, so it's like, you know, it just you need in the most successful teams usually is where the guy is a superior athlete. It's just the way it is. And most of the teams, like Nani wants to win her first final. She knows she can't do it without Bananas. Mariah, it's her first time on the challenge. She knows she can't win the damn thing without Fessy. Like, all these girls know they need their male superior counterpart to win the challenge, and this is like the complete opposite. It's like Casey's great by herself, but she's not gonna be able to carry her brother through this final. She's not that great. Like,
Right.
it's it doesn't work
That
that
yeah,
way.
that was
It
a
just
that was a casting. That was like a casting poor choice because like I listen to a lot of like podcasts, blah 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 of challenge stuff. So Fessy wanted to be with Casey, and then Casey turned down Fessy because she wanted to be with her brother. Which I mean, fair enough. You want to be with your family, but like
yeah.
her family's not strong.
No, and
So
that's the thing. Like, I just like I said, when it comes to all the other girls, Casey is better than just about all of them. She's one of the greatest. But is she good enough to carry another dude throughout the entire challenge? No, she's not. She like another guy who can't carry himself.
right,
She's just not. I mean, and that's just like, it doesn't work that way. I mean, I wanted them out though. I was like, this is just a boring team. I'm over their journey. Time for them to go home. If Anissa and Jordan lose to them, I'm gonna be so pissed, and they didn't, thank God. But at the same time, same thing with like Anissa and Jordan. Like, you saw their flaws as well in this. I mean, it's Jordan's great, but like Anissa, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. Where like he's not. I don't think he's gonna be able to carry her through a final either. But I mean, he carried her through these eliminations. That's one thing. But like a final has always been her struggle, going back many, many seasons. And I feel like it's taken its toll on her.
yeah. I mean, so I kind of sort of skipped through this elimination because I just thought it was boring, which brings me to an next part. Like the editing. The editing sucks. So it's so bad that I can't even tell what's going on in this sort of challenge. Like I want to go to Home Depot and buy a thick ass fucking rope and like go just drag it around and see how quickly I can do it. And with Kenny, like too, I feel like we're shitting on him, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to root for Kenny because I feel like he like in social media circles and like being on reality TV or whatever, people look at him as boring, which when people say that term, it pisses me off because I feel like people have maybe told me I'm boring in person, like if I get nervous or something. So I wanted him to dominate this shit in the challenge, and he did not. He like didn't do anything. So he's boring, but he's also like a fucking bitch when it comes to like moving rope around.
I
So
mean,
that's kind of annoying.
yeah, but we're over halfway through the season. He's had chances to show his to prove his mettle in this game, and he just doesn't do it.
Right.
So at this point, I was like, no, he's not gonna. I mean, if he proves it to us, great, but I wasn't expecting him to. So I was like, hey, they need to go. Like, just go home, both of you. Like, I mean,
It
Casey,
makes me,
welcome
yeah.
back to come with Casey. Please come back, but don't come back with him. He's just not good. you know.
Yeah, it makes me want to like wish I changed my gender and pretended to be Casey's long lost twin, or Fessy's long lost boyfriend or girlfriend or something. You get on the show.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Anyways, uh, so you go back into the okay. So the bus challenge, just skip past that. So the bus challenge, what do you think about that?
I
They're
mean,
jumping around and shit, like bouncing around on this bus.
honestly, I mean, I didn't think it was that. I thought it was an overhyped challenge a little bit. I didn't think it was that great, to tell you the truth. Um, I mean, it's just I expected more. If you like, you're bringing a bus into it, it's like against ongoing traffic. It's like dodging cars and it's shit, and like everyone's like bouncing between in like a big mosh pit full of balls that they have to like basically look outside the window and look at the patterns and try and organize them and everything. It's just and get them in the right order. I mean, it was a lame challenge in my opinion. I don't think I thought it was overhyped a little bit. They were like, oh, it's one of the best challenges of the season. It really wasn't special to me. I've seen way better.
Right. So I thought it sucked from a viewer's perspective, but I think being in the bus would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure,
So,
yeah. They're different. I'm sure that would have been something, but for Tori, it wasn't though because that girl puked on her arm
right.
actually. So,
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, that challenge, the whole episode as a whole, I thought was boring as shit
yeah,
because it doesn't translate well to camera. So, yes, put me in a freaking bus and like bounce me around the walls, and I'm gonna grab random puzzle pieces. So I know I was talking about doing like one of the challenges from like 2 weeks ago and like filming a video of me doing it faster than the other people. But like this is one like, damn, like can I do this somehow? But like just bounce around in circles. I feel like you got to get low on the ground. Like I think our last team, like with Tori and Devin, I think they were the ones that like got super low to the ground and then just grab puzzle pieces that match the colors and then put them in the place. The hardest part of this one was the colors of the puzzle. It was like blue,
yeah.
purple,
It's hard to tell a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
magenta.
I think only like two teams managed to get every single one right. But I think at the end of the day, Nani and Bananas were the winners, and they nailed it. I mean, Nani pretty much carried this one. She had good a good memory when it came to all of that, and it paid off. So she's now more focused than ever. It seems now that Casey's out of the game. So it's good. Yeah, get your loved one out of the game. Focus on winning this whole thing, and I mean, she's been wanting to do this for like 10 years. So I mean, she doesn't. She has to win it. She has to try and win it all. I mean,
Right.
no.
Speaking of which, so smash that like button, subscribe to the Reality Guys if you're hearing this. But so Johnny Bananas, he's like, my sole mission is to get Nani to the finals.
Mhm.
And so he wants to make sure she gets there. And then we have the the he he escapes. He does not get into a single elimination at
Yeah,
his
he's the only
next
one.
elimination call. Like what
He's
the hell
the,
happens?
yeah, he's the only one. It's just amazing, dude. How like he's the only person who's not been in elimination yet to this point in the game. It's like, how are you all letting the 7-time champ just coast to the final right now? But also, like, part of the reason is because he just plays a smart game. He knows who to stay close to. He knows who to throw under the bus. He knows all this shit. He knows exactly what to look for and what to ignore in order to succeed in this game. He's so good at it. From a political standpoint, there's nobody really that's better.
Right. The way he like I forgot about that, but he's literally the only guy that has not shown up in elimination. And then we get to tonight's elimination where you have um Rumble Tumble right? Is that the name? I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
Oh
Maybe
my
not.
God, man.
That doesn't sound right. It sounds like the bus challenge. But
I don't know. Yeah,
anyways,
I mean,
so
basically, yeah. I mean, bananas ended up, what were the Dumbos who volunteered themselves to go in? Uh, Chauncey and his girlfriend. What's her name? I totally forget her name. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now. But
Amber. Amber.
Chauncey and Amber, yeah, Chauncey and
Okay.
Amber, yeah, they volunteered to go in like Dumbos,
Right.
and they voted them in directly, and the other three teams had to go in the draw. Basically, the only team they saved was Mariah and Fessy, which is smart. You know, they're the strongest team left aside from them. So everyone else had to go into the draw, and the team that was safe was Horacio and Olivia. They drew the safe dagger and they threw in what's their names? Jordan and Anissa.
Nice.
So yeah.
So what do you think about those choices right there?
I mean, honestly, I was kind of upset about it a little bit when I found out what the challenge was and what they had to do. Like from the girls' perspective, Anissa had to go against Amber, and they were basically tied. Their backs were tied together, and they had to drag each other basically to knocking over their pillars. They had like there were six pillars, three that belonged to Anissa, three that belonged to Amber. And they had to drag each other and basically while attached to each other had to knock over their pillars. First one to knock over all three of their pillars wins that round. And just the fact that Anissa against Amber, such a weight mismatch. Anissa just dog walked her the entire way. And that was where I'm just like, you know what? I would have rather seen Tori against Amber. It would have been probably a little more fair, although Amber's a twig compared to all the girls just about. So
I
that
was
really was.
wondering if they could try to grab people's legs and like do like a submission roll.
Yeah, I mean,
But
hey, there was
I was like, they
strategy
probably
involved.
can't. But
There's strategy involved. I mean, there you knew that Anissa was going to just dog walk Amber, but the guys, Chauncey against Jordan, is where it got really interesting. And I thought Chauncey was about to pull this off. It looked like it, but you saw Jordan's just his experience in these games and his brains just takes over everything. The guy's just such a smart player. Even at a
right.
weight disadvantage. I mean, Chauncey had 30 pounds on him at least, and Jordan just, at the end they were both tied two to two, and you think Chauncey's about to pull him all the way to his pillar and knock it over until Jordan just sweeps his leg and just gains the upper hand and manages to get him to lose his balance and then gets to his own pillar and pushes it over first. And that's where it paid off. I mean, Jordan just want a classic elimination here. People will remember it's like, hey, that's why he's one of the champs, one of the goats of this
Right.
entire show. So
Yeah,
that was
I sort of like blind man. I like blind man fumble my way through this whole episode, and then the way Jordan narrated how he won
oh, it was
the
perfect.
final episode, he's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm looking at Chauncey. Like that's like one of the things I remember that sticks out in my mind because I watched so much of the shit. It's like all blur at this
yeah.
point. But he's like, dude, Chauncey's he's gonna go forward. He's gonna sprint,
Oh
and then
yeah.
I'm just gonna
I'm
just
just
like
gonna go cut
rip
the
him
other way.
off
I'm
to
just,
one
I'm just
side or
gonna
the
turn
other.
left and run. Yeah,
Like, and
like
I'm
the
like,
way he did.
dude, Jordan's a fucking genius, man.
Oh,
Like,
it's so
that's
good. Hearing his confessionals and just walking you through it. He's like, oh, he thinks I'm gonna go straight, wrong. I'm gonna go this way. It's like, oh, it's so great. Yeah, no, that
which,
was good.
dude, that the guy. I mean, the girls' elimination. I'm not gonna lie, I like zoned out, but the guys' elimination, I was like fine tuned in
Yeah, I mean the
to
girls,
what was
like I
happening
said,
on.
it was just predictable. You knew Anissa was going to dog walk this girl. I was like, God, I was like, Amber, if you had any kind of strategy, just dig a trench and just try to hold her until she gasses out, and then maybe you can pull her ass. But like, you know, she didn't know what to do. Amber did not know what to
Yeah,
do against Anissa. So that's why in eliminations like that, most of the eliminations that Anissa wins are usually something to do with like force and using her weight against somebody else.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah. Her body weight.
in moments like that, Anissa can shine, but it's like when she gets to a final with Jordan, it looks like they're going to get to a final. I'm calling it now. I don't know what happens in the final, but if Jordan and Anissa are there, she's not going to be able to make it through. I mean, Jordan's not going to be able to carry her, and her endurance is what her endurance is.
Yeah.
Like he can't make it better. And
So, yeah, I
if
was gonna
that
say
ends
with
up, yeah.
with a, with a guy
Oh,
like Jordan. So Jordan said it like this episode. He said it previously. He's like a big game trophy hunter at this point.
yeah,
Like he's got enough money. He doesn't give a fuck if he wins this thing.
yeah.
If he's the guy that gets Anissa across the finish line, that's like his trophy.
That is
So
like one of the
yeah,
greatest accomplishments, maybe in challenge history, if they end up winning this whole fucking thing. Like, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a better accomplishment than that, you know?
if you're Jordan, he's already won.
Three.
Bananas has already won. Like,
Yeah.
is Jordan chasing the bananas trophy? Or I mean, I guess he could, but like who
Yeah.
cares really? I mean, he's trying to get money. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get money plus if he can be the one guy that says he like got Anissa across the finish line to get her
Oh,
first
yeah.
thing, that's pretty
Dude,
big.
that's
So
huge, man. That's like that helps him climb up like to like he'll be right because they say like the two greatest players, male players of all time are Bananas and CT. If Jordan takes Anissa across the finish line and they win this whole thing, he's in the conversation with both of them. I don't care what anybody says.
right.
It's like with both
So
of
so I have a quick question. So let's pretend you're in the final or not in the final, but you're in the show. Let's say you're in the show with all these people on the cast. Who do you want to run a final against?
who would I want to run the final against?
Yeah, let's say you and two other people from the current cast.
Like me against the both of them in the final. Like I guess two of the male contestants, if I had to pick.
Yeah.
Um, uh, you know what? I guess to test myself would be a fair. I mean, I'd want to go up against um Bananas.
Eh. Continue.
How come? I'm curious. I'm curious. I don't know, but yeah,
Well,
Banana.
I mean, you said one of the names I'm definitely not going to want to go against. So, like, I forgot about this point until I mentioned the question I just posed to you. But um, they saved Tori and Devin tonight, right? Like, who was voting? I don't remember. Somebody was voting.
Yeah, it was
They saved Tori and Devin.
Horacio and Olivia.
Yes, yes. All
Horacio
right,
and Olivia. Yeah.
all right. So Horacio and Olivia, they're aligned, or at least Horacio like aligned with Jordan. And at that point when he voted, I'm like, he's boys with Jordan, so is he gonna put him in or is he gonna vote him in? And I was like, damn. Like at first I was thinking, oh, you gotta like put in Devin, put in Tori. And then when I thought about it, I was like, Devin and Tori are like a weak pair theoretically to go against in the final. So it's like, dude, put in Jordan.
No, man, but like, but I don't know, but I don't know if they're. I think Jordan and Anissa is not going to be that strong because Anissa is going to drag Jordan back. I think I'm convinced it will happen at some point. So, like, I think Tori and Devin are more of a balanced pair. You know, I feel like
They're a balanced sub-average pair.
yeah. I mean, honestly,
So
I feel like Devin though has proven that he's one of the better competitors too. Tori's still the jury's out, but I
yeah,
mean, like Jordan and Anissa, like Jordan is like way up here.
right.
Anissa, she's an OG. You know, she's one of the most memorable people. Everyone knows who she is, but in terms of like what she brings to the table for a final, she's like down here. She's been in 3 finals before, and she always struggled to get to the finish line. Always.
Right.
So, I mean,
The selection is bad, but I think in the final, worst case scenario is going against Bananas. I don't like Bananas and Ani. If there's any way I can not go against them, I will not go against them because they have everything on their side.
yeah. Also, in terms of experience and all that stuff, and just like championship pedigree, he has it. And I think Nani winning it. I mean, she's capable, especially with him. You can see it. She's all there mentally.
Right.
She's physically like in shape, better than she's ever been in shape. So like, I could see Bananas and her winning the whole thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to beat Fess. I completely forgot about them, but
Fessy and Mariah,
Fessy and
yeah.
Fessel. So I have a quick question for you, actually. So what does Fessel mean?
Fessel?
Yeah.
Fessel? Kind of hard to say, honestly. Fessel, it's actually pronounced in Arabic, it's pronounced Faisal. Faisal. And not so can't, I'm not really the best translator when it comes to names like that. So I mean, yeah, couldn't really tell you. But Fessy, I mean, he's the thing is, I wouldn't want to go against Fessy in a final. He's determined. He wants it. You could see how much he wants it. I mean, the dude's big as hell. He's great competitor. No one really likes his personality, and his politics suck. But I mean, as a competitor, he's great. So if he's in the final, I mean, you could see how determined he is. So can't hate on him for that. I mean, and Mariah is a good partner. I mean, she's a rookie in this thing, but she's proven to be a damn good competitor. She almost kicked Nani's ass out in that elimination last week. If not for her misspelling the word devotion, she would have beat her. But
Right. Yeah, I
yeah,
listened to a podcast she did on that. She said like the letter slipped down or something, but
yeah.
I was like, dude, I wanted to ask you about Fessel, but Pessy Fessel, but I completely forgot because it wasn't in my notes because he didn't do anything this episode.
No, he
So
didn't have to. I mean, hey, he was saved. Banana saved him. So I mean, and Banana saved him because it's like, hey, you don't want to go up against them in a final, but also he's hooking up with Mariah, so of course he's gonna save them. So
right. So I mean, I got nothing left. So I think we're gonna close out this episode, collect
yeah.
our 50 views, and get a paycheck.
There you
Not
go.
not a paycheck, but 50 views, maybe 100 if we're lucky. So
There you go.
signing off.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good
See
night.
you next week.
Thank you for your participation.